indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, good evening, and welcome to the June 1st meeting of the board. A couple of announcements. Just want to remind everybody that a week from today is the voting for municipal offices, as well as municipal referendums, as well as gubernatorial primaries. Also, the RSU, formerly SAD 57, now RSU 57 budget vote. So Tuesday of next week will be, I guess, something like 3 or 4 ballots that you'll have to carry into the ballot box with you. So polls open at 7 a.m., M.R.S.A Middle School, and they will close at 8 p.m., and that is again a week from today, June 8th. Also, the Ospey Meadows Garden Club asked that we make an announcement tonight that their annual plant sale is to be held this Saturday from 9 to noon at the Taylor House. So again, if you're interested in buying plants, June 5th, Saturday, 9 to noon at the Taylor House. Any other announcements? Sensing none, we'll move right into appointments. We do not have an appointments. However, we we had snowplow bids due in at 5 p.m. tonight, and should have it on the agenda, both opening the bids and later discussing vote.
I would move that we put that on item 2 under new business.
Second.
Okay, and how about opening the bids during the appointments, John? Opening the bids under appointments?
You want to, okay, open them under appointments?
Yeah.
I'll move that we open the bids under appointments.
Okay. Do I have a second to that as well?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor? All right, so we'll deal with opening of the bids under appointments and deal with discussing voting under new business item number 2. Anything else? Hearing a delegation. Mike.
Thank you, Dennis. Just a quick update about Waterboro Parks and Recreation. We're in full bore summer mode right now. I got a couple of important dates coming up for a few different things. Our summer baton program, our twirling program that marches in the Old Home Days Parade and marches in the Alfred Festival Days Parade as well. We have registration for that on June 16th, right next door from 5 to 6:30. You should see these in a lot of the post offices and in the stores, and they've gone home with all the kids at the school as well. Pretty much sums up what's taking place over the next 12 weeks here. So we have baton registration June 16th. The following night, June 17th, we're up at the pool in Lake Arrowhead on Old Portland Road for registration and testing for our swim program. Probably in our 14th or 15th year. I've been managing summer programs for us for 10 summers now, and it predates me. And we've pretty much had, I think we're only on our 2nd and 3rd instructor. Nikki Bergeron will be back this year. She's a certified water safety instructor. Very important program for us. So we'll be up there doing testing and registration for that. If you can't make it, call me up. We'll get you registered, no problem. The other date is the Ossipee Pines Park, now Fay Park, dedication on August 1st. If you haven't been there, go check it out. It's beautiful. Doug Folio did an amazing job taking care of it, and the Land Trust Committee certainly is a big part of that as well. So we're having the dedication on August 1. If anybody wants to provide some suggestions, call me up. We'll talk about it. I want to talk to Bob's daughter, Terry Jo, as well, before we get going with that. The big piece of the summer programs is our summer day camp. We've had as many as 144 kids registered for that before, like 4 or 5 years ago. Last year we did $68,000 in revenues for our summer programs. We did not carry that money forward, so any money that was in the account on June 30th of last year disappeared and stayed or went into the surplus, and the Selectmen managed that for us last year. So this year, while it may look like we have a shortfall, we in fact don't. I expect to do another $60,000 to $70,000 like we do every June and July. In the last 10 days, we've taken in $16,000, $17,000 for our summer programs, and it's just the beginning. So I expect to have 120 people registered for our two big programs, the summer camp and the teen camp. We're holding job interviews this week. We had 4 or 5 today. We're holding 4 or 5 again on Thursday. There are a lot of good people applying for jobs, so I expect a safe and happy summer for all of our children. Vacation Fun Camp kind of surrounds our 6 weeks of camp at the elementary school. There's 10 weeks of summer. We kind of have a long summer this year. We didn't have many snow days, so we'll have 2 weeks of summer camp in the big room out back on my side. We have air conditioning in there if it gets super hot. We also have a blow-up water slide that we use. The kids love that. And we can take trips down to M.R.S.A on our community bus. So we'll have 2 weeks of that. Then we go to the school for 6 weeks, summer program. And then we'll come back over here and do 2 more weeks over at Town Hall. And Mike, Pete, and I are looking forward to doing some painting and some touching up next door while that 6-week block is taking place over at the elementary school. So that'll be good for us. We want to paint the walls, paint the ceiling. Figure we can do it in a couple of days. 3 of us chip away at it. So we're looking forward to that. Our Funergy program, we've been doing that every Wednesday. We're looking to bring that full-time next year, talking with the school and the transportation department. It's been a lot of work getting that going. I'll let you know how that goes when we get into August and know what's taking place with registrations for that. Tomorrow, we're on our first excursion, if you will, although it really isn't a trip. We're just having an additional luncheon, and we're having lobster and steamers and potato and vegetable down at the Snowmobile Club. Landlocked Lobster Pond will be purchasing the lobsters and steamers from and giving us a great price. We did it last year. We had a lot of fun and got yelled at because not enough people were able to sign up. So we'll probably do it twice this year. I don't know when the second piece of it will be, but we're going to have our Castle in the Clouds trip at the end of June. I'll advertise that and have Dave put it up on the website for us. And we're doing a trip to Hollywood Slots. We actually will just drive folks over to Portland and they can get on the VIP bus up to Hollywood to help people out with that piece of the transportation. And we're doing a Scarborough Downs trip as well. Had a lot of requests for that. It's their anniversary year. So there's a great buffet luncheon over there for seniors that they have every day. So we're looking forward to doing that. And we're again selling Funtown Splashtown tickets, as we have for the past several years. They're selling them up in Lake Arrowhead at their office too. Most of the rec departments sell them. There's a $9 discount as opposed to buying it at the gate. It's $26. We get to keep 50 cents, I believe, for every one we sell, and the main rec association keeps 50 cents. So when you add that up over literally dozens and dozens of rec departments selling them, it adds up. It adds up to a pretty decent amount of change that we get to keep right here in the state of Maine. It's good for our residents, and it's good for the state of Maine as well. So Pam has a book of them to sell. I think Kerry has a book over at the clerk's office. I have a book of them, and we'll bring them over to the elementary school when we go to the camp over there as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Great.
Anyone else hearing a delegation? Joe, you have anything? All right, we'll move into reports, Selectmen's reports. Look up and down the table here. Just so everybody is aware, the new comprehensive plan committee is meeting as we speak. They've launched their meeting tonight, and they'll be working diligently over the next year or so on that project. Town planner Tom M.R.S.A is kind of coordinating that effort with that committee. Sheriff's report. Sean, welcome. Looking pretty dapper tonight there, bud.
Well, about the clothing, it's my night off. I'm here on my own time, and I was going to come in uniform tonight, so everyone would know who I am. In case they don't recognize the bald head and the ugly face, I put the badge on. However, the sun came out and the humidity got so bad I couldn't stand the thought of putting the polyester and the 25-pound belt on and the body armor. I couldn't hack it, so I'm just going to dress up tonight. So, for those that don't know me, I'm Sean Sanborn. I'm a deputy with the York County Sheriff's Office, and I'm your contract deputy if you live in Waterboro. So that's what's up with the attire tonight, just trying to look professional. First thing I want to mention is, this isn't a Waterboro thing, but I just want to mention that officers down, killed in the line of duty or dying in the line of duty this year nationwide is 69. Thankfully, none from the state of Maine. Sex offenders in Waterboro, right now, we've got a dozen, either living here or working here. I believe there's a new one, last name of M.R.S.A. You can find, I'll put him outside on Pam's shelf. Anyone wants to see that, or they can go to the Maine Sex Offender Registry online. He works here, not living here. Call volume in Waterboro in 2010, I'm going to go from January to April. The month of May isn't available yet because the dispatch center hasn't finalized May. It's something they have to do so I can look at it. It's the 1st of June, so sometimes they don't get to it till like the 2nd or 3rd. It's not really their fault. So I'm just going to concentrate on January through April and just do a comparison. Not much to compare, it's pretty even. In 2009, during that time period, January through April, Waterboro had a call volume, police-wise, of 1,337 calls. This year, we're at 1,404, so a little bit of an increase, but it's pretty marginal. So not much of a decrease or increase. We're kind of holding steady there. I would like to mention that last year, we did lead by about 900 calls over the runner-up, which was the town of Arundel in call volume. So I didn't look at any other towns, but we're right about where we were last year. Car burglary is one of my favorite subjects. Please lock your cars. I had some, over Memorial Day weekend, some vacationers from Massachusetts staying at some camps. They seem to think it's Mayberry, and they just went free and left their car doors unlocked, and they all got hit. That was over near Lakeside Market and some of those camps in that area. Other than that, the locals have been pretty good about it. I think the citizens of Waterboro are coming around and starting to lock their vehicles up. I still have some stragglers that just don't want to do it for whatever reason because it's tradition for them. I'm hearing more and more when I go to car burglaries. I just forgot to do it last night. I've been doing it. I've been good. And they want to tell me that, so that's good at least. Or they just went out to get some cigarettes and left it unlocked at midnight or something like that. I'm hearing that a lot. So the town's coming around as far as locking their things up. Major incidents of note, we had the forest fire up in the Lake Arrowhead area. It's kind of right in the middle of Lake Arrowhead, but it's owned privately. I've summoned one juvenile for starting that, and there's another juvenile. I've just got it's just a matter of getting him at the right time. He's not on the run or anything. It's just been hit and miss with him. It was not intentional by these two juveniles. They didn't try to start a forest fire. They were actually mostly safe about having their fire while they were camping. However, they were doing it on someone's land. They didn't have permission to have a campfire. And in the morning, they didn't put enough water on it, and they left it. And what happened was it was dry and windy. The hot coals dried out. This is my theory anyway. And the fire started up again, which it will. The wind came up, blew some of the coals out into the pine needles, and we've got 2 acres scorched out there. Nothing too bad, but the Waterboro Fire Department and several other agencies did a good job of getting out there. And it was in a kind of a remote area. You couldn't get there by anything but forestry truck, 4-wheeler, things like that. So fortunately, it didn't get up into the treetops and really take off like Canada. Oh, by the way, I spent about 45 minutes the other day, I think it was Saturday, driving all over Lake Arrowhead looking for the person burning plastic before I was told that it was coming from Canada. So I wasn't the only one. There's 2 of us out riding around looking for that culprit burning when they shouldn't and burning plastic out in their backyard. So I got ribbed for that by the fire department. Any other incidents come up? Besides the unwanted customer at Jim Sunoco? Everyone knows about that. I'm not going to get into it. Hopefully that person's doing better.
Fred's got a question behind you.
The other
Other
side.
side.
Yes, sir.
What's the story with that trash over there?
You know what? The next one is going to be dumping. That's the next one on the list here. You raised your hand right at the right time. Dumping. Dumping is a no-win situation for me. I can't really say that, but it seems like it. Sometimes I catch people, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I catch defiant people and they get summoned. Sometimes I find people that just, they screwed up and they go pick it up. Those are the victories I have, sort of. Seems like when I summons people for that, they lodge a complaint against me. When I don't catch them, people get impatient. The dumping situation that Fred's talking about, somebody apparently redid their bathroom and dumped the entire bathroom out on Chadbourne Ridge. I really hate this because I like to be out in the woods. I'm an outdoor guy, so when I see that, it infuriates me. I've been on my days off before, and I saw a guy driving out. If you cross the dam and head into Limerick, there's that trail on the right they've tried to block off. They keep dumping right in front of where we've blocked. They've moved enough of that aside so you can drive in there again. Well, I see some guy driving in there, and he's got a nice, I think it was a washing machine in the back of his truck. So it didn't take a genius to figure out what he was doing, so I called that in. I'm in my Jeep and plain clothes, and so I drove out there after him because the agency covering that area, they were iffy about when they were going to be there, half an hour away, so I didn't want to deal with it. So I went out there and confronted him, and he said he was just sitting there enjoying the trees and looking for scrap metal, and he knew where to go to do that. So I had him go down the road, and I had him pick up the other stuff that was dumped, and he actually drove out with more than what he came in with. So I really am trying. My suspect on Fred's, the one that Fred's talking about, he was living in an apartment and doing everything he could to avoid me. And now he's moved to Bedford, moved in with his father. I just found his ex-wife, and she told me where to find the guy. I still don't have enough probable cause to charge this guy. So I'm working on that. The person's correspondence I found in there, he was the landlord of the suspect, and the suspect offered to take his trash for him, along with all the bathroom stuff. The landlord, whose name I found, that's how I found the suspect, I don't know if you're following me on this, he didn't have anything done with his bathroom, so it's not his bathroom out there, it was just some of his mail. So I truly believe that he is not my suspect, and I would not feel right in charging this guy. So I'm working on it. I'm still tracking the guy down, you know, in between the bigger incidents. Now I've got to go to Bedford to find this guy, but I'm working on it. I've got his phone number, he's not returning my calls. So no, he's not going to return my calls. He knows what's up. So I just wish he'd go out there and clean it up. Parks. Did Mike leave? Mike left. It's good, because I was going to get after him. Residents-only signs in the parks. Well, there's just one at Gobeil Park. Is that the only residents-only sign we have? Okay, what's the extent of that? What exactly, it's kind of a broad thing, it says residents only.
Goes back to many, many moons ago at a town meeting, and it was brought up that that be restricted to residents only and passed at a town meeting, and I don't think it's ever been
Okay.
rescinded to the best of my knowledge. So.
The reason I ask is because, and this is one of those you can't make it up things, in the past I've had people trying to meet down there for sex, and I think I've curbed that, or at least every time I go by there, if I'm not in a hurry, I'll actually drive down in there, kind of like when I drive through Hannaford and look for people parking in the fire lane. So I've tried to patrol that enough to deter that kind of activity. The other day I go down there, actually last week I went down there, there's a blue Corvette down there, and he's got, hanging off the back bumper, a big set of rubber testicles hanging off his car, blue to match the car. And it gets my attention. I'm like, who's this guy? And he's sitting there, and he's parked right where people are swimming, and he's looking down at these people swimming, and there's a lot of children down there. So I'm like, okay, so I run the plate, being who I am, and he comes back out of another town far away. So I pulled up, and I said, what are you doing here? And he said he was just sitting there enjoying the water. I said, okay, fair enough. And I figured I accomplished my mission of letting him know that I knew he was there, so I left. And he was all defensive about it, so I left. A couple days ago, same thing. I pull up, there he is again. And it just has wrong written all over it. Maybe he's just enjoying the water. I don't know. But I questioned him again on why he was there, and I mentioned, the sign up there says residents only. But I wasn't real comfortable with just kicking him out because I'm not sure what the town's intent was with that, or actually how much custodial power they want me to have. So that's a question I would ask you. And he got mad at me for asking him that and pointing the sign out. He actually lodged a complaint against me. But if I'm not doing my job, I'm not getting a complaint once in a while, so it didn't bother me a whole lot. And so anyway, I thought I'd run that by the board. What's your feeling on that? I don't need an answer now. You can get back to me on that, but I'd just like to know.
Well, I know once they start with the attendance down there in the summer, you have to have the town permit in order to park down there, and if you
Okay.
don't, then,
Oh, by the way, he's going to ask special permission to park there, so he can watch. He likes to watch the water, and he told. Actually, he knows Matt Netto very well, being from Arundel. He called Matt right up, all fired up, and wanted to know who the jerk was in Waterboro that's giving him a hard time at the boat launch up there. And Matt knows him pretty well. I'll leave it at that. So he's going to ask permission to be down there anytime he wants. So I'm just giving you a heads up. And I was going to tell Mike that, but he snuck away. Other park things. Did we ever settle the Love Island issue? Because that was kind of what we were going to do with Love Island, if we were going to make that a Parks and Rec thing, make that like a park in itself and post it dawn to dusk only. Because summer's heating up, and I was out there in my kayak the other day, and there was a fire that was still smoldering out there. So. It's a great place to be, and I don't want to ban people from being there, but I'd rather they not be there overnight, and the illegal fires are going on out there. So, in light of the forest fire we just had, if it is an island, but if it ever crowned, if the trees ever caught on fire, that would blow right over onto the mainland and right into Lake Arrowhead. So, just like to get some better control on Love Island. That's all I've got for parks. Parking violations. They've been on the downturn, I think. I haven't seen it as many at Hannaford, and Matt hasn't been telling me much about the elementary school. Matt kind of takes care of the schools, and I look after Hannaford. And with summer coming on, I've seen some out-of-state people parking in the fire lane. They just kind of do that, and I move them along. But I haven't given a ticket in a while because I haven't found an unattended car there in a long time. If they're attended, I just give them the thumb and they move along. And they're pretty good about that. Marijuana. The dreaded pot. It's that time of year again. If anyone out there knows that someone has a grow of marijuana, please report it, be it in the woods or their home. We'd like to know about that. No matter what town it is, we'd like to know if there's marijuana grows out there. It's a big controversy right now, whether it should be legal or not legal, but from what I have seen from marijuana, it ends up in the hands of teenagers. We don't want teenagers to have liquor, cigarettes. We don't want them to have marijuana either. To me, marijuana is worse. 2 out of the 3 OUIs that I've gotten recently have been drugs, not liquor, right out here on Secocas Trail. And both of those were early in the morning. So it's not just a nighttime thing. So anyway, if there's marijuana going on out there and you know about it, please report it because it has other consequences. If people smoking it in their houses, that's what people picture when they legalized marijuana. They're going to smoke it in their house and leave people alone. Well, unfortunately, it's getting out to pit parties. Kids are taking it to school, and do we really want children to have marijuana? They've always had it, since the 60s, but let's try to curb it a little bit because it's getting out to pit parties. Pit parties is another thing. Please report pit parties. If there are pit parties in your neighborhood, don't wait all night and call at 2 in the morning and say there was a pit party out here and they've been out here squealing their tires all night as they leave drunk. That doesn't help, and now kids are out driving drunk. If it's a pit party, chances are they're teenagers because they have no place to go and hang out because they have parents at home and they can't drink and smoke marijuana and do whatever at their house. They go to these pits or hidden places in the woods where, you know, sometimes it takes four-wheel drives to get to. Lately, there's been a swell of pit parties in the area, and we've been breaking them up almost weekly. And you know, recently, a teen going to M.R.S.A got his jaw broken, got pulled out of his car, and got stomped by his car, and now his jaw's wired shut. In the past, pit parties have resulted in assaults like that, drug overdoses, and sometimes sexual assaults. So it's not just kids out having fun. There's other consequences to kids being out there and being on substances such as liquor, marijuana, or whatever else. The last one I broke up, there was no liquor there. There was very little. But you wouldn't believe it, there was a box of donuts, chocolate, beside the campfire, and I couldn't figure it out until I realized it was a marijuana party. They actually brought chocolate donuts out there to eat after they smoked their marijuana. So it's just, you can't make it up. So please report that stuff. Don't wait till you see me in the store. You know, report it when it's happening. You're not bothering us, just give us a call. 324-1111, York County Sheriff's Office. Facebook. I have a Facebook page. I've had it for quite a while. It's anyone that does Facebook, you can search Deputy Sean Sanborn, S-H-A-W-N, and you can friend me there. I encourage anyone from Waterboro to do that. I put statistics there, or I try to weekly. I try to put a lot of good stuff in there, just what's going on around town and crimes that are happening. And I've got a lot of good feedback on it. I've got about 200 people. My goal is like 2,000 people. I'd love to have 2,000 people from town on that Facebook. Just, you know, it's an excellent communication tool. I do reserve the right to deny requests and or to boot people off that are being vulgar on my page or insultive or whatever. Any complaints about me? Any feedback while I'm here in front of the board? Does anyone have any issues with the way I'm doing my job? Okay. If anyone does have complaints, feel free to come to me directly. If you really think I'm a jerk, then please call my supervisors at the York County Sheriff's Office. Ask for a sergeant or someone of rank, and you can give your concern to them. Like the guy in the blue Corvette, he was upset with me, so he called right up. That's all I have about complaints. I do like feedback, so if you think I can do my job better or you have suggestions for me, please get a hold of me either by email, Facebook, call me, or whatever. Voting. This isn't police related, but June 8th are the elections. Just want to make sure I get that right. And the next day is town meeting.
Well, no, it's
12th.
Saturday.
On Saturday.
Glad I asked. Okay, June 8th is the primaries.
And
who's
town voting.
in-town voting for selectmen. So if you don't agree with someone or you think someone should get elected, get out there and make a difference. Go vote for who you need to vote for. You know, you can complain all you want, but if you haven't actually gone out there to try to make a difference, then you know, that's just complaining. Make a difference, get out there and vote. Town meeting is the same type of thing. It's on the 12th. If you live in Waterboro and you don't go to town meeting, you're not participating. And if you're angry with how things are being run, go to town meeting, see how it runs. That's pretty much all I have. Any concerns from anyone else or the board?
Very good.
All set. Thanks,
Okay.
Sean.
No problem. Sorry it was
Appreciate you coming
long-winded.
in for,
It's been a few months, so,
yeah.
okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Sean.
Thanks.
I gotta back up here. I blew right by the appointment stuff, so let's open these bids. If you would. But we get all the reporting done anyway. We get down to the serious business. All right, who wants to go?
I opened the bid from Foglio Inc. for 2010-2011 winter season, be $3,700 per mile for a total of $225,959 for year one. For 2011-12, it'd be $3,800 per mile for a total of $232,66. And for 2012-13, it'd be $3,900 a mile for a total of $238,173.
Okay.
We have Edgley and Sons, I haven't had a chance to look at this closely here, but the 2010-2011 per mile, $3,929.92 for a total of $240,000.21. Now, 2011 and 12, we're at $4,011.79 per mile, and that totals out to $245,001. Then 2012, 2013 is $40,093 with 67 cents to $4,093.67, and that's a total of $250,042.
Okay. Any,
I just want to wipe that outside.
presume that those, it's the bid, yeah, it's the form, that's the form that,
Thank you.
all right, so let's move on to new business. Discuss possible contract modification, Clint. In everybody's packet, there's a proposal from Commercial Paving. Currently, their address is Scarborough, but they also own the Riverside Recycling Center. And I think Clint's kind of poking around to see if in fact we could look at getting a more favorable demo material and demo wood tipping fee. They have proposed that they would reduce it. The issue is that within the contract that we currently have with D&E, we talk about hauling to Commercial Paving in Scarborough, not Commercial Paving in Portland. Or it's Westbrook. Is it Westbrook or Riverside is actually Portland, right? So I think the discussion that we kind of have been batting around is that we probably really need to set with Dean. They have proposed of them coming out and doing the hauling. And I know that there was some concern, or at least feedback from D&E that relative to the cost of hauling through Westbrook to get to the Portland Recycling Center. So more than anything else, I think this is just to tee this up so that we can get a work session with D&E to determine if in fact his contract talks about Scarborough, but is there any change to that if in fact we said that we want the recyclables demo wood and the demo material to go to the Riverside, Portland transfer station? So it's really not a, today we're contracted with Dean for 130 a load, but that was specific to say it went to commercial paving in Scarborough. So we need to sit down with him, and my preference would be, I think, to have,
What the problem is, commercial paving took over Riverside
Right.
Recycling after this contract.
right,
And it figures out to, like on last year's figures, it's like $18,200 difference in what we're paying for tipping fees now. I mean, less.
so there's an advantage of the tipping fees, we just need to sit with
That's right.
D&E to make sure that the hauling fee is either the same, or if it has to be adjusted, then we also have a price of commercial paving if they
See,
came out and did
Right
it.
now, we're paying, they charge us a fuel surcharge over there too, and it's $96 a ton when you figure it all out. And they'll be willing to do it for 68, and no surcharge.
Mhm.
So how's the decision going to be made on this right now? Who's going to make that? Clint's going to make that? Who's gonna
Well,
make the decision?
I guess, it really, my view, it should be Nancy and you sit with D&E and determine if he has any issues with hauling to there based on the fact that the contract didn't specify the Riverside Recycling Center, it's specified Scarborough. If he has to have an adjustment, then I think we need to look at, is there an opportunity to have commercial paving do it? Difference is commercial paving is not going to be as readily available as D&E. It's a $10 difference in the haul, right? So I guess, my preference would be to have Nancy and Clint sit with Dean and
Yeah,
work it out, and if they got to bring it back to the board, then we vote on it,
okay.
if there's a contract modification. So that would be the action that I would see.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. All right. Under new business, we had to discuss about snowplow contract bids. If anybody wants to do the math, you can do the math, but we're talking about $14,000 savings in year one, Foglio over Edgley. Year two, it would be about 12, 13. In year three, about the same thing. So we're talking $45,000 over the 3-year period. So,
I would first make a motion that we accept the bids as opened.
yep.
Second that.
All those in favor of accepting the bids? All those opposed? All right.
Now, there's an issue here, too, that makes this a little more complicated, in that we have one of the bidders running for road commissioner, and we've had a legal opinion on that. So what happens if the bid is awarded to the person that also wins the road commissioner? Where are we going there?
Well, at this
Do we have a
point,
backup?
I don't think at this point you really can't award the bid and take it away from what the lawyers said.
I don't think you can take it away. No, I agree.
Right. So basically, if Foglio wins road commissioner, it's his decision whether or not to take the road commissioner's job or still go for the bid, I guess, at that point.
Yeah.
My only concern with that, and I don't know that the attorney had this information, the snowplow contract says that the winter roads foreman oversees the plowing. And in the past, the board has appointed the road commissioner as the winter roads foreman, but that does not necessarily have to be that way. We could appoint anybody as a winter roads foreman.
You could, but then there's an obligation, and responsibility there. So do
Absolutely.
you want to take on that job? So, without being paid for it?
But the legal opinion that we got from the attorney, I don't think included a copy of the contract which laid out that the winter roads foreman.
Yeah.
Well,
So we're going to hire a
in-
winter roads foreman?
In Nancy's absence, I guess I won't speak for her, but I do believe that the town attorney had all of the information that he needed, but I'm not going to speak for her one way or the other. She's the only one that could really answer that, and she's not here tonight, so.
So I don't think we can, as Cindy said, I don't think we can do what if here. I think we, in looking at this, we got to go with the bid, and then what happens next, and then we react to that.
So I would make a motion that we award the bid to Foglio Inc., who is the low bidder.
I'll second that.
Wait, you're going to award, wouldn't it make sense just to wait and award the bid at the time that we find out who the road commissioner is going to be? Are you going to award it contingent upon?
I think that might affect the election. I think what we need to
Well,
do
you
is
know
take
what,
them as
yeah.
separate events.
Yeah, Myron.
This whole thing started, like I said, on road commission and all that. I took papers out to run for road commissioner, and I was informed that you couldn't be both. The town lawyer said that. I've watched these meetings, I've watched Doug Fogiel at his candidate night saying it's what you take of it. But then I've seen him on the planning board, and when he's on the Selectmen and all that, we always take what the lawyer says, the town lawyer, town lawyer, town lawyer. Then now here you are telling me, I'm telling everybody that he should have it now. I think it's wrong. I think, like I said, it ought to go. If he gets voted and he takes the job as road commissioner, this is what it all started about, and go that way. If it wasn't supposed to be that way, I should have been told. The idea is that I backed out of this job and all that stuff.
Yeah.
My biggest thing is, the way I feel about it, and I shouldn't say it, because like I said, it makes me feeling, but I've had hard feeling, seems like it's been Doug and me since I took plowing away from him. The way I feel about it is, when Doug Fogiel walks into this town hall, he's God, and everybody runs to him, and you all bow to him. And I have nothing against him, I just think it ought to be played out the way it was stated with the lawyers, the way he stated to the town. That's the way it was always stated. Yes, he is cheaper than me on the bid, that's the way it is. Like I said, he's got a lot sharper pencil than what he was before, for a drop. Like I said, that's the way it is, but I still think it ought to be played out. The idea is the way the lawyer states. If he gets road commissioner, he doesn't want road commissioner, as far as I'm concerned, the job's his.
Brenda?
The snowplow contract clearly states that the road commissioner referred to throughout the contract shall work under the direction of the Board of Selectmen, and they are in charge, the road commissioner is in charge of plowing.
Yeah.
Now, are you telling me that you're going to change the contract and have a road supervisor, Tammy?
I believe in the contract, there is a piece in here, or maybe it's in the charter, that says the winter roads foreman is
There's
appointed
no referral
by...
to foreman in this contract.
I
It says
think-
the road commissioner.
No, if you look in 2B, Brenda, you'll see that it specifically refers to the winter
So
roads
we're going
foreman.
to just pick and choose throughout the contract on how we...
I guess
road
that's,
commissioner
you know,
and foreman?
My perspective is that contract refers in principle to the road commissioner as overseeing the road snow plowing contract. And to me, we've had one road commissioner slash winter roads foreman, call them what you may, for tradition, whatever you want to call it, forever. And I think there was only one time that was not the case, and it was midway through a winter, and that was back in the 80s. So, you know, my view of this is the road commissioner manages this contract.
That's right.
And I don't think that's up for debate.
I don't think
The
so
road
either.
commissioner gets all of the reports from the sheriff's department. When they need to go out from the school department, it's the road commissioner that gets the
Yep.
And
notice.
if he backs out, the road commissioner, I have no problem with the town or anybody giving him the job.
But I think we all need to be treated fairly. And
I
don't
think Tammy
that we
Jo's
need to
just taking
interpret-
shots in the dark. I can't
No,
see
no,
this
Cindy,
board doing
that's,
this.
that's not what I'm doing.
Tammy,
I think
that
that,
is
no,
the
Cindy,
dumbest
hear me
thing I've
out.
ever heard.
No matter which way this goes, we're going to have an issue on this board. Because you have Myron, who in good faith took out his papers to be road commissioner.
Yeah.
And decided not to put it through because it was deemed that the road commissioner was going to be in charge of the plow contract. So Myron has an issue with the town, understandably. Then you have, on the other side of that, you have a contractor who's put in for a bid. If it gets awarded and he gets road commissioner, he's saying, no, I've had an attorney look at this, and the attorney says the winter roads foreman and the road commissioner are two separate people. We've got an issue. No matter which way this goes, we have something that we're going to have to deal with.
I think you have an issue. I cannot believe you're going to get 4 of the selectmen to go along with that hogwash.
Brenda?
So the other contractor has already contacted his attorney, and he's got an opinion that the attorney for the town of Waterboro is incorrect. Yes or no?
My understanding
He
is
does not.
that he has,
This board has not had any feedback from that relative to that. We have an opinion from our attorney. We made the decision to notify everybody that was running for road commissioner.
And I just would appreciate that we are all treated the same way. I don't think that at this point we are.
Always in the past, you always go along with what the town attorney tells you. But now all of a sudden,
Well, I'm not
No.
saying that we're going to do anything other than what the town attorney said, but anyway, that's a vote, that'll be a vote on this board. Paul, you had something?
Well, I didn't know that the road commissioner had control over the plowing contract. But it seems strange to me that if Doug Foglio or Myron had the plowing contract and he had specific roads to plow and has a contract to do that, why does he need a supervisor to tell him what to do? I mean, it should be two separate jobs.
The issue is very clear. They're a contractor, all right? When they go out and what they do is controlled by the road commissioner and ultimately the board, because the contract is held with the board. That has been the way that it has been forever.
Well,
And Doug has had the contract for many, many years, except for the past two. In the past two, Fred talked to you and Mark and determined when, where, how many, and when you stop plowing, right?
how much salt you put out, everything.
How much salt, the control of salt, the control of everything that's on that road. So it is ultimately the decision of the road commissioner of when they stop or when they start. Yes, it's in the contract that after it's accumulated X amount of inches, that they're supposed to automatically go out and those kind of things there. But the road commissioner is the town's clerk of the works, if you want to call him that determines when and where.
but the road commissioner is not a paying job.
Doesn't matter, it's an elected position in this community, so. So, there's motion,
Still in discussion?
Yep, still in discussion.
I take issue with one thing that Mr. Edgley had to say, and that I don't think that Mr. Foglio is God when he walks in here. Granted, he's a vocal citizen of the community, but he doesn't dictate, at least to me, what my decision's going to be. And for the purpose of the discussion here, I think that Mr. Edgley is 100% correct when he says that we have historically, at least since I've been on the board here, have gone with what the town attorney has advised us, because we had the premise that we brought an issue before the town attorney because we wanted an opinion that would protect the board and protect the town, and that if we just arbitrarily chose to disregard that, then what's the point of having a town attorney? And I'm not in favor of awarding this contract right now until everything goes back to the town attorney for review of any existing clause that Selectman Gerard has mentioned, and to make sure that this is done, entirely within the framework of what we set out.
Yeah, there's two ways this can happen. We make the decision now on the contract, and then if Doug Foglio is elected as road commissioner, then then there's another decision to be made. And that decision is, as it stands, it's seen as a conflict of interest to be your own, supervising yourself. Or the other thing is Gordon picked up the other way to go, is to not award the contract, hold off, and see who's elected, and then make a decision there. Either way, it's going to run into some complaints.
And I did specifically ask that when this went to the town attorney, did a copy of the contract go with it so that the attorney had that information? And I was told, well, we assume that he had that information, seeing as he approved the contract. My point in this is we're going to have an issue no matter which way this goes. I want to make sure that the town attorney had all of the information before he gave us the decision, and I'm not confident that he did. That's my point, Cindy.
But to bring this up all of a sudden that now we're going to hire another person.
I brought it up 2 weeks ago.
But it just makes no sense.
Doug?
I won't even be on the board at that point, but...
Good evening. First off, I want to say that I was criticized by Mr. Edgley without me being present, which is illegal under the state of Maine. He had no right to raise my name here tonight without me being notified and being allowed to be here. He demeaned me in public, and I don't appreciate that. I'm no god. I'm just another poor slob that lives in this town. If you read the snowplow contract, you'll find it says in there that the Board of Selectmen have the control of the snowplowing in this town. It's said that for many years. They appoint the duties to the road commissioner. Cindy, the road commissioner is a non-paid position. They're not going to hire another person if they appoint somebody else as overseer of winter roads. Secondly, when the contract came up to bid 2 years ago, we were not the low bidders, so we didn't get it. And this board sitting here in front of me said, we got to go with a low bid. We were the low bid on this contract by almost $50,000. So now you're going to argue over giving me the contract and paying somebody else an additional $50,000? You didn't look at the 49 years that I plowed snow in this town with not more than a handful of complaints? That didn't enter into the project. No, please let me have my opportunity to speak. The road commissioner or the overseer of winter roads only gets paid for the time they put in. The road commissioner for the last 2 winters has not been the overseer of the snow plowing because he hasn't been here. He's been in Florida. So it wasn't the road commissioner's job. You have an attorney, I'm sure that I could get one too. But we were the low bidders on the contract. You can't go back and find that we faulted this town any time in the last 49 years that I plowed snow in it. So I think we were the low bidder, and I believe we should be awarded the contract. If I win the position of road commissioner, which I may not, I probably won't, but if I do, then I will give the people a good dollar's worth of work for the dollar that they spend. You also sent me a letter saying that I couldn't use my own equipment. After 175 years, you've changed the rules because I'm running for road commissioner?
No.
No, I don't agree with that. No other town in York County do they have that the road commissioner probably either doesn't oversee or plow the snow and does all the work. Lyman has the same attorney firm that Waterboro does, and they got an absolutely 180-degree different ruling from that firm than Waterboro did. So, in the future, if you're going to criticize somebody, let them be criticized, make sure they're present when you do it, or you're going to find yourself in bigger problems than you are now. If you're all about saving money, and if you're all about what you say, that the town is in dire straits for money, I would think that the almost $50,000, or better than $50,000 difference in the two bids is just cause to award us the contract.
First of all, I'll take exception to is the criticism, Doug. That's in a public hearing. If we have a hearing, then you have a right to be present if someone is formally criticizing you. But if any citizen can stand up here and say the cop didn't do this or the road commissioner didn't do this and they're not here, they have a right to their opinion.
Not to carry on a
This
conversation,
is not a
John.
hearing. So if it was a hearing, then you have the right to be here.
Not to carry on a conversation.
Well, it wasn't a conversation, he made a statement, I didn't hear anybody here dispute or agree with it, Doug, so, and I think people stand up all the time and make comments, but that as it may, I think we've got a proposal in front of us. I think there's a motion. I think no matter what we do, we're gonna be back talking to Mr. Cole. Or Myron.
Yeah. I probably shouldn't have said what I did, and I more apologize to Doug. I'm sorry that I did it, and probably I shouldn't have. And sometime over a little bit of anger and stuff, you say things you shouldn't. And I hope Doug will accept my apology that I am sorry that I said it.
Brenda?
I just need to make one final statement that I don't think it was fair that we got a letter saying you cannot bid on the plowing truck contract and be run for road commissioner. I just feel like there was many letters sent out. We chose not to go the route of running for the road commissioner. We chose to bid on the plowing contract. Whether we were $50,000 more than the other bid, it's black and white, it's on the table. 2 years ago, we were $100,000 less than the other bid that was on the table. So I think if we look at the whole picture, we need to be fair to all of us. And I feel that it's not fair to send out letters, tell us that you're looking at following the town's attorney's advice, and this is how you're going to handle the plowing contract. We're following the town attorney's advice, we're following, this is the floor mat. But now the bids have been opened, everything is changing. We're now going back to the town attorney, we're now going to see what his new opinion is, because he never got the contract. That doesn't make sense to me. Why would you pay a town attorney to review a contract if you didn't send him the contract? If you're saying that the road commissioner has not been in charge of the plowing because he has a bed in town, who is this? I got more calls from Fred in Florida than I've ever gotten from him as his residence in Waterboro, for God's sakes. The other thing is you hire and have on your payroll an assistant to Fred. I'm assuming that he's watching the roads. Is that not true?
Yes,
Is he
he
working
is.
under the direction?
Yes, he
I
is.
don't know how this all flows. I just know that this contract clearly states whether it states commissioner or whatever you want to call him. If you want to call him a road commissioner or a road foreman, he's working under the direction of the selectmen. You told us that the town attorney said that the road commissioner cannot do two different jobs and without a conflict of interest. And now you're changing everything around. You're saying that everything's going back and it's going to be reviewed.
I think, when I said the attorney's going to get re-involved, depending on the outcome of this election and whether we award this bid tonight, there will be more legal involvement. I'm not looking for anybody to tell me that we should add some other language to this contract. Contract went out, contract was approved by our attorney. The attorney gave us an opinion. We sent everybody that was potentially a road commissioner candidate or a bidder
Right.
that letter. All right, so from my view, everybody has an equal footing. All right, there were some decisions made. One individual has made the decision, is going to roll the dice and go for both. Somebody else made a decision, no, I'd rather bid and not run. That's a decision that's made based on the information that we sent out from that we were advised from the town attorney. So the playing field, in my view, is level. All right? If we award this bid tonight to the lowest bidder, then it gets awarded. All right? Whatever shakes out next week, shakes out. And I'm sure that we'll have discussions from that point on of how that gets done. But I think they're not necessarily dependent on one another.
I agree. And I think the first thing to do, go back to the two issues that I had. The first thing in my seconding to the motion was that we go with the low bid. And then I still haven't particularly moved in my thoughts and with following the attorney's advice. So, but the first thing I need to do is to deal with the bid. And this is the low bid, and my second stands.
Anything else?
The question that I have, granted it's the low bid, but based on the opinion of the town attorney, is it in fact a legal bid on the information that we put out?
There is no new road commissioner at this point.
Right.
As far as I'm concerned,
So-
we have
What-
a recommendation from Ken Cole, who's the town's attorney, right? Everybody that was a party in this thing had that information. So that was the basis, and I think we've had now 2 years or two different bid processes here where things have, we've had some pretty good prices come in. So I'm not sure that one is dependent on the other. If we were 3 weeks down the road and bids were coming in and we knew who was in what positions, might be a little bit of a different issue that we have.
Yeah, I think you got to take one thing at a time. And this is before us now, and so
If we're only a week away from the election, what harm is there in holding the finalization of awarding this contract until the election has taken place?
because the issue is still there. The issue then becomes more complex. You're not dealing with one issue at a time, you're weighing one issue off against the other one. Here, you're dealing with one issue, low bid, you got to give the low bid, and then if it may shake out that Doug is not elected and that his opponent is elected, and there's no issue. And if he is elected, then this comes before us.
Let me just address, this went out. It doesn't say, and we will only be awarding once we find out who the no road commissioner is. This said, as of this date, we would accept the bids, and I think you award the bid based on the information that you've got.
It said we would accept the bid. It doesn't say in there that we would make the decision at the time that we accept the bid.
I mean, if there's no reason, there's nothing in there that would suggest we're gonna award the bids once we understand who's the new road commissioner. I guess that's my point. Okay? Brenda?
Okay, one final question. If the bid is awarded tonight to the low bidder does become the road commissioner, does he automatically now come before the board with, you need to make a decision because we're not going to honor our award? That doesn't make sense to me because that's not a legal battle, right? If you award a bid, can you just take it away? Because, I mean, you've got this attorney telling you through a letter that you sent to us
Yep.
that the road commissioner cannot be the overseer of the plowing contract. So if you award the plowing contract to the low bidder, he does become the road commissioner. Are you now taking back the bid, the award?
I guess, and that was my concern, only because of because I think you both did a good job doing the roads, and I'm not going to be here. But what Ken basically stated was, if the person becomes elected as the road commissioner, and he also gets the contract, that person has to decide if he wants to keep the road commissioner's job or if he wants the contract. And that was just what the lawyer stated. I have no personal opinion in any of this. I'm just going by what Ken said.
But if the person that has been awarded the contract at that point decides to fight it,
I don't know.
you're in a legal battle for how long?
Well, I don't think there's a legal battle for how long. I think that the town makes a decision.
Okay,
What's-
I mean, I
It's
just
in the
wanna
best
know what-
interest of the town.
And I guess that's what I want to hear you say, that the five of you are going to make a decision. It's not going to carry on for months and months. Tuesday's going to come, we're going to know who has been elected, and Wednesday, you're going to be able to say, this is how it is.
I think that we will have a pretty good view of where we are then. Okay? I'm not gonna tell you there's not gonna be some wrangling and some issues, because there probably will, but I think we need to take one step at a time. We have a bid in front of us. We either award it or don't award it, and I think then we shake out what happens next Tuesday. So, I would agree with John on this. Doug?
Well, the opinion you got from Ken Cole stated that the road commissioner could not be in charge of the snow plowing. To this point, there is no road commissioner issue. And if there becomes a road commissioner issue, then the Board of Selectmen will have to appoint a different overseer of the snow removal. That's simple.
That may be an option.
It's that simple, because at this point, if we all waited to make a decision in business till next week to see what was gonna happen next week, we'd be out of business pretty quick.
But then being on a Board of Selectmen, we wait months and months and months and nothing happens. I know.
Anything else?
No, I just think we should hold off.
Anything else on the board? Sensing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of awarding the bid to Foglio Inc. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, moving on to old business. Discuss a vote award insurance bid. In front of you, you've got Nancy's proposal from insurance, both from Paquin Carroll and MMA, and her analysis. So I guess I would ask what's your pleasure there?
That's a package deal. You can't break those,
No.
insurances out.
No, but MMA has come through with a fairly significant,
I would make a motion that we go with the low bidder MMA.
I'll second that.
any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? All right. Discuss legal opinion, tower agreement, and consent of Lessor. I think you've got in your packet all of the information from Attorney Cole, and what Louis Vitale would like to do is to have a workshop next Tuesday with the board and the land trust. Next Tuesday's probably not going to work, but although depending on how, well, I'm not sure that, well, I guess we'll have to find out whether it would or not, whether or not we get Ken out here on that shorter notice.
What do they hope to accomplish by a workshop?
I think Ken's position is that the land trust and the town should both sign this lease agreement.
And what do they have, what does
What's
the
their-
tower people have against a dual signature there?
I'm not sure.
I mean, this thing, it just seems to get more complicated than it needs to be. You know, if we both sign the contract,
That, and I guess that would be my put back to them is that, you know, I don't see that the land trust should have any issue here, and it should be, if both the Board of Selectmen and the land trust offices need to sign the lease agreement, then we all sign it.
yeah, I don't think we
I
need to
don't
have
think
a
there's a big deal either.
workshop on this.
So Nancy will be back tomorrow, and then we can go back to Ken and suggest that that's what happens, and
Yeah.
he can prepare the paperwork so that it gets signed.
Maybe it's a very short workshop, then we just.
Well, this is a clear legal reason
Yeah.
not to do it.
Which
I
I
think-
don't see in his communication that there would be. Anyway, I think he figured he'd get it to the board, we'd sign it and be done with it, but, so. All right. Review of goals. John, you wanna go over them, or we wanna?
Want me to read the first goal, John?
Maybe we should take one a week for the next four.
The first goal was create and implement a better budget process for fiscal year '09, fiscal year '10 by committing proper due diligence, exact target deadlines, and stellar attendance by all.
Done.
I think, yeah, I think that was done
well.
effectively this year.
The second one was reactivate and appoint members to the Public Safety Committee, the Conservation Committee, and the Comprehensive Plan Oversight Committee.
Well, we got one of three.
33%.
Well, we really need to see if we can continue to drive to get the comprehensive, or make a fundamental change and take the comprehensive plan. I mean, the Conservation Committee was an outgrowth years ago, or the Parks and Rec was an outgrowth of the Conservation Committee. Maybe we ought to be looking at consolidation of committees, and so maybe that's really neat.
Yeah, I think it's partially met, but I think we still have some issues on that one.
And it's not like we haven't tried. I mean, how many times have we sat here and said, we're looking for members, and we just,
Can't pull them off the street.
Public Safety Committee, I'm not sure. I mean, you gotta kind of scratch your head, right, to say why we can't seem to generate any interest there. But-
and
So
maybe,
that's something that I guess we need to, we'll work on it, I guess, as we go
That may
into
be
the
a
new year.
sub-goal
Yeah.
next year. It may not, since it was partially met, it could come under another goal.
Okay.
and maybe this is a good time to bring up that maybe this is one of the reasons why we need to look at having another charter commission, because some of these committees are part of the charter commission, and things have changed within our community, and maybe, like, for example, the Public Safety Committee. What is the purpose of that committee? We've gone from an all-volunteer fire department to a different type of department now. We don't have constables anymore. We have a different personnel policy in place, so maybe the time of that committee, maybe their function needs to
Yeah.
change, and so.
And maybe that's really the next level that we need to poke at is that, you know, we get all these committees, are there some that could be consolidated and move forward? I'm not sure. That'll be, I guess, the decision of the next board.
Transform the town hall into a secure facility with a user-friendly professional atmosphere.
The secure piece, I think we got now. Okay, and I think generally speaking, we've got a pretty good face to the public here. I'm not telling you that that doesn't have its moments, but certainly and I guess I would, you know, the work that Dave's done, I know that some of the stuff that, from an infrastructure perspective and whatnot, I'm not sure how you get, we talked about locks and access, and we haven't gone with that, but, so it certainly that it needs some more work, right?
I think this goal would probably come up again next year.
I think it's
It will
gonna
be-
come up
but
every year.
we're halfway, we're part of the way there. But I think there's other issues that cost money and would come up in further budgets that we need to put it out there again.
Okay,
Number 4 was strive for timely decision-making by performing detailed inquiry and investigation by the selectmen with strong staff research and support.
yeah, we're not there yet, but I think we've at least haven't.
Well, we put a new policy together, and we put it in place, and then we didn't follow it.
Yep.
You know, we were supposed to have a packet of information with each agenda item, and, you know, we got them the first couple of weeks, and it worked.
Yeah.
It worked great. We had a lot of information and whatnot, and then it fell to the wayside.
Yep. Yep. I agree.
And the last one was create an operations flow chart booklet on public interface activities with the code enforcement officer and the town planner.
I think they've done that, right?
They've been working on it in the planning board.
All right, well, it's something that as we turn the corner here in the next month, the next board
Get
will
back
have
on
to-
that in July again. But we made some good, you know, on those goals, I think we certainly haven't met them all, but we've made some pretty good progress, and a couple of them have been met.
All right, let's move on. Warrants and bills for payroll.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Discuss, vote, sign minutes of 5:25.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Pending decisions, we've got the staff training and training policy that Nancy was wrapping up. Anything else on 4113?
No,
Okay.
not at the time.
Week's action list. Other than trying to get D&E and the admin and Clint together. So that's really Nancy and Clint.
For the staff training, going back to that, we talked about cross-training everybody.
Yeah.
I'm not sure we've moved in that direction.
Yeah, I think we need to see
And that one, you know, we saw it as a very important piece here. And I think whether that becomes a number one goal for next year, and we put it up at the top of the list and get on it, but I think that's a very important piece.
Okay. Agenda items for next week. We've got election going on. Not sure how much you want to poke at. I'm not sure that we have a lot to poke at. We're kind of now in the wait-and-see mode, right?
Do we need a certain amount of people for Tuesday?
Yeah, Tuesday morning, anybody that can be there at 7 would be greatly appreciated. We need 25 people to open the polls
At the middle school.
at the middle school. So 7 o'clock, Tuesday morning.
Oh, God, don't kill me. I get up
We
at
usually,
9.
we usually call in the teachers.
I'll set my alarm. That's
Well,
true.
Dennis, you're gonna have a selectmen's meeting next week?
Yeah. just to, I mean, we got to end up doing the business that we need to do from the warrants and that stuff there, so. And Nancy will be back, so I'm sure that we'll tease some things up.
The Friends are on the agenda for next week to come in as a reporting committee.
Yep,
I don't know if maybe we want to
push that off.
postpone that, because I know they've got a display that they're doing it, but...
All right, so why don't we make
Sure.
that offer to them, that we'll push that off.
Good.
Okay? So, item C, the signature of warrants and bills of payroll, the minutes of 5:25, the journal adjustments that are in the folder. I'm going to read the reminders, and then this board will be going into an executive session. So, reminders, planning board tomorrow night here at 7 PM, Historic Society, Elder Gray Meeting House on June 3rd, Thursday night at 7 PM, Water District Monday night, elections Tuesday, again, 7 AM to 8 PM, the polls will be open. You can still vote here at the town hall, absentee, up until this Friday, right? Because the meeting, the office will be closed until the election. Selectmen's meeting next meeting, next Thursday night here, Tuesday night here. And town hall is a week from Saturday. A town meeting is a week from Saturday. So put that on your calendars. That all being said, we need to go into an executive session, so if someone would make that.
Before we do
Yeah.
that, can we put back on next week's agenda items that should have been on this week's? And that includes the status of the dock situation. I thought that Jerry and Patty were supposed to be here tonight. And it was mentioned, it's in the minutes of last week's meeting, plus the status update of the telephone.
Yeah.
Yeah, we also wanted to talk tonight about the referendum questions, and it wasn't on the agenda. Too late to do it next week.
Thoughts on referendum questions?
Yeah, we kind of, I was not in the office when Pam called me. We were trying to go through this memory, and she said, well, I just watched the CD, so I'm assuming that she had that stuff, but, yeah, we can do that. The referendum is out, but we should be able to get a status of the dock situation, and so Jerry and Patty, we can put them on at 6. Okay, and the phone issue, Nancy would have to report on that anyway, so. All right, so if someone would make a motion,
I will move that we go into executive session per M.R.S.A. subsection 405, 6A, personnel issue.